Welcome back, welcome back. Spanning over 4 decades and selling more than 150 million albums across the globe, Genesis has taken its place as one of the world's true super bands. This year marks its 40th birthday, and on the back of a 12-country reunion tour, Genesis has now just released a new album and published a new book here, which is a case not of I could not put it down, but very nearly I could not pick it up, really, because it's a very, very solid job here. Value for money there. Anyway, the band has seen many changes over the years, and I'm now joined by the 2 guys who've been there right from the beginning, Mike Rutherford and Tony Banks. Welcome, both of you, to this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
And it all began at a public school, an English public school called Charterhouse, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's where we started, yes.
Where you all met, or the original group met.
Yeah, Phil didn't come till afterwards. Phil, he went to stage school, acting school, so he had a different sort of education sense. But myself, Tony, and Peter Gabriel were at Charterhouse, and I have a funny feeling because in those days, pop music was so removed from our public school in a sense, what was going on, and I think it sort of kept us going through the school stages. I think definitely. Yes,
and so Peter Gabriel was the vocalist at the beginning, as it were, and then when did Phil Collins take over that role?
Well, he actually took over the singing role in 1976, but he'd been the drummer in the band since 1970. Yeah. So, which is what he joined us as. The fact that he had a good voice, although we knew he had a good voice, we were very lucky to be able to find as good a singer as that, sort of hiding away in the group, I think, because it made the transition much easier than it would have been otherwise. Yeah,
and 40 years ago, when it all began and so on, did the 2 of you then, when you started the whole thing off, did you ever think it would be 40 years later that you'd be doing?
I don't think you could ever think that, would you?
No.
I think possibly we gave it a few months, Well, I mean, you work from day to day at that period in time, I think. We were just having fun. Mike and I actually didn't even know each other at school, funnily enough. We just had mutual friends, and that's how the band started off. But I think when we first started off, I think the idea that it just was a little amateur thing, and then it got a bit further than that. And then you just play it from year to year, and it's sort of, after a bit, you find you're still there.
And what do you think was the secret of the Genesis success?
I think, well, apart from having a bit of luck, you always need luck, whatever talent you have, we know that. But I think, actually, the songwriting. We've always been very strong on good songwriting, good material. That's our real passion, to be honest. I mean, being songwriters, really. And I think that if you have good material, then the chances of a long-term career are possible, in a sense, I think.
Well, I think distinctive material is an important thing. I also think we've been very lucky with both the front men we've had, both Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins. There's no doubt, having seen lots of other groups around, that if you have someone up there at the front who can really focus the attention in the way that they both could, it just makes everything much easier. And hopefully, being more writers ourselves, we're able to provide the kind of material, if you like, that would mean that we could be very successful.
What of Genesis's songs will end up in the time capsule, would you say? Most deserve to end up in the time.
No, it's quite hard because unlike a lot of artists, we were more, for many years, more a band of albums rather than singles, We had single success, but maybe a song like Turn It On Again or Mama. I mean, but I think people would talk more about albums, a body of work rather than one song, which is not a bad thing either.
Would you call yourselves friends or colleagues, or both?
I think definitely friends. In fact, funny enough, something about this tour and doing this book, reading about other people talking about each other, because we're English public school boys, we don't say our feelings very much, made us realise, I think, what a great time we've had, how close we are in a funny way. I think this whole process, this last tour and the book and everything has been quite good for sort of us enjoying our company even more so, I think.
Because some groups are famous for their rows as much as anything else, like the Beach Boys or somebody like that.
Well, I know, that's yes, that's quite entertaining as well, isn't it? But for other people, more than to live through yourself. No, we've always been very lucky, really. I mean, with all the past members and everything, with Peter and Steve, who obviously with us for a long time, we still have a good relationship, I think, and it's been one of the pleasures of the business.
You haven't regretted, Tony, not going to Sussex University to read logic with physics?
Well, I did go to Sussex University for 1 year, and I went there to read chemistry, and by the end of that year, I'd switched to logic with physics, which took quite a bit of struggling because it was quite a small course as it happens. And then I've never been back. It was really the year after that Michael and Anthony Phillips, the original guitarist, decided they wanted to go professional, which I'd never really considered in a way. And so initially they were doing what they were doing, and we decided to help them out. Peter and I just helped them out, and then of course we got absorbed into it and kind of wanted to do it. So it was breaking to my parents that I wasn't going to go back to university was the interesting thing. So I took a year off. Yeah. And then after 2 years,
and then you told
I took another year off, actually. And as far as I know, I'm still taking years off. So, you know, at some point, maybe I'll go back and finish the course, but I don't think I would be quite capable.
Well, I think it's a rather shrewd move. I think he's probably better paid in music than he would be in logic and physics.
I think he's done well. But what he was saying is quite, you know, trying to imagine now what it was like for our parents in that day,
yeah.
You know, end of the 60s, to say you're going to be in a group. You know, now parents see young kids making a lot of money and a career, but in those days
why aren't you joining a group instead of doing all this work? Yes,
my father had me down for the Navy or the Foreign Office, you know, and I went in the group, and I'm sure he probably thought, oh my God, you know, please, a couple of years to go out of it. So in a way, for them to support what they did, they were very supportive. It was quite brave, I think, in those days.
I asked a lot of people for a summary of what was the moment when you realised you were a success, and Roger Moore said the moment when my parents stopped telling me to get a proper job. That was the moment he knew. So that's similar. Great to have you both with us. Good luck with the next tour. Good luck with the book and the album. And we look forward to a new album, new Genesis album. Can we look forward to that?
I don't know about a new Genesis album, but we like the possibility of some Genesis new music is not impossible, but we've really talked nothing about it yet, so, you know.
That's a very political answer.
It is a political answer.
Thank you both very much. Great to have you both with us. In a moment, I'll be discussing two very important ballots taking place this weekend, one in Russia and one in Venezuela. Do not go away. Thank you.